Greetings, everyone. On the screen is Solonie. Those of you who have been watching this Good Deed program in Jamaica and perhaps have watched my video in the past where I talked about how I really liked this lady. I felt a lot of empathy for her and her son. And this program came in and came through for this lady. Now she's situated in her own home, and things have changed a lot for her. The person who requested me doing this video asked to keep their name out of this video, and so I'm going to respect your wishes. I'm going to say this though, and it's very important that you listen carefully, that if you take a look at the screen and you are someone who've had any experience with someone who has mental health problems, you don't have to wonder. We don't always want to be bringing up the mental health issue, but in this case, it is important that we do because that's what we're looking at. Now, a lot of us have different illnesses in our body, whether it be mental or physical. And a lot of times we have to manage it with medication or manage it with food. In Salonie's case, her mental health is not really addressed in a way that we could say it's being managed. At this point, every so often she has to go to the doctor to get her needle to sort of put her in that dull state. So it's not like she's getting help, whether it be psychological help, to manage these outbreaks. At this point, it's just getting her quiet by giving her needles or whatever to just calm her. I want to say this, and I don't want to say it with tongue in cheek. A lot of us as Jamaicans, we play with mental health. We don't give it the focus and the attention that it needs. Now, in Salonie's case, there was a mistake from the very beginning, and perhaps people didn't really know the extent of her illness. To know that this lady seemed to have, mental illness that goes across. There's a spectrum, it's wide, and at one minute she seems okay, and the next minute when you listen to her, she's acting out, and people are expecting that in this case you can just talk to her and reason with her, and you cannot. It's not that simple. I said before in a previous video, some of these persons who are in dire strait, they're really suffering, and you help them, providing them a home. And then I said, what's going to happen next? Because the money and the house doesn't address the problem that they're already having, which is the mental health issues that they have. It is going to take someone who is trained. And I'm going to say this to you. When you're dealing with people with mental health illness, it's no joke. See, one hand, depending on what spectrum they're on, they might seem, normal. Let's put that in quotation. Rational is a better word. And so when you, in your rational mind, start to talk to them or deal with them, you're expecting them to behave and think the same way you do. And that's not the case. One of the biggest mistakes people have made in the past is not understanding that when you're dealing with someone with mental health issues, depending on the scope of it, of course, you have to be very cautious. You cannot allow these individuals become dependent on you to the point where if you withdraw yourself from them, they lose it. Now, here are some classic signs of some dangerous people with mental health problems. When you got someone who start telling you that if you remove yourself or your love from me, I'm going to harm myself, you better listen, because you don't want to end up being a victim of this individual. Everyone knows that Solonie has a mental health problem, and so she harms you physically. There's not much that's going to happen except she's locked away in an institution. And then what? It's too late for you, and your family have to grieve you. So I'm saying we need to stop ignoring people who make, threats to themselves, threat to hurt themselves or others. You cannot ignore that. Now, as someone who has worked in the mental health field for a little bit, I remember wanting to go into social work because I want to do so much to help people because of my nature. And when I was there, I sort of changed career path because I realized that what I thought I could do, I couldn't do. Because when you're dealing with people with mental health problems, you have to be very, very cautious. It's really no different from working in the prison with some very serious criminals. And I'm not saying someone with a mental health problem is a criminal. I'm just saying the kind of precautions that are taken in jail are also some of the same precautions I see taken in psych wards, because these individuals can become some, and again, it depends on the scope, depending on where they're at, what kind of mental illness they suffer. Now, they can become very violent. The very one you love, share your, time and your money and whatever with, if you withdraw, because at some point you will have to, people who have to deal with people with mental health problem, they themselves need counseling because it's difficult. So if it's a loved one, it's a family member, and you love your loved ones or your family member, and you have to work with them and you have to do what you need to do. After a certain point, even a mother, even as brother or sister, get to the point where they can't handle it anymore. And so what we look in front of us, what we're seeing with Solonie, she's spiraling out of control. Now, what is scary for me is she has threatened to hurt her son, to burn the home, and to hurt her son. And people seem to be ignoring this. And even the young man needs to be cautious. At some point, he is in harm's way, and his mother could potentially hurt him. Not because she doesn't love her son, but she's not working with, the ability to make rational decisions. Her use of money, or the way she squanders money, is indicative of the fact that, she's out of control. And, the person who found her, obviously loves her and she loves her too. But at this point, the love is not enough. And therefore, if anyone wished to speak to this lady and tell her the truth, you have done your job already with this lady, and now you need someone who is trained to deal with her, because the very person you try to help might end up harming you. It is very scary. She is spiraling out of control. And the medication that she's getting, or the vaccination that she's getting, or the needle, or whatever she's getting to kind of bring her to balance, it is not working. And the worst thing you want is someone who is struggling with some kind of mental illness to form a kind of unhealthy bond with you. The moment you withdraw yourself from them, they're going to lose it, and at some point you become their enemy. So I'm not going to say too much more on this. I'm just saying that this is a very dangerous thing that is being played out, and it would be a crying shame to see someone get hurt because they ignore the signs. Someone threatening to harm themselves or someone else is a very, dangerous thing that we must not ignore. And you can't throw money on this thing because this lady is not working, with the capacity to reason or to think. There's so many things showing up, so many other problems, coming to the surface as far as Solonie is concerned. And what is kind of sad is that the people around her are using her, as entertainment. I mean, making her dance and carry on. And though she should be happy, and it's nice to see her, out of the space where she used to be, at this point, at this critical juncture, she needs help, and help that most people who are giving her money right now cannot give her. She needs mental help, and she needs to be under the care of doctors who know how to deal with these things. We don't really know exactly what she's suffering from, but we do know she isn't well. So her son is in danger, and she also is in danger, and those who she loves is also in danger, because now, based on how she's behaving, it's very, very scary. If you love anyone who is working with her or dealing with her, warn them to be very careful, because though they love her and she claims to love them, she is at this point now where she is a danger to these ones. Stay blessed, everybody.